Okay, so we'll go again.
Too deep in the south. That's what it is. I'm gonna go. Should I let the cat out the bag right quick? Though, man, I got my nigga Quet in the building, man. Cause, you know what I'm saying? Memphis 10 in the building. Should I go and let the cat out the bag right quick on these niggas, man?
Welcome back to our channel Justice for Dolph. Last 2 weeks have been extremely wild, and we keep finding so much of new crucial information. At first, we started by leaking the covered-up information behind the scenes how Steve's little informant mastermind is still threatening witnesses and putting hits on their family members while on Steve's bond and sitting next to his boyfriend, a Houston rapper Lil Flip. We also told you how they all met behind the public's back in February, confirmed by people working over there at the courts, and how no news reported on this even though they had the screenshots too and all the information. Where else in the history of masterminds on bond would this be tolerated and no additional charges pressed or actions taken to revoke his bond? This was us testing the waters to see how deep the cover-up reaches. We knew right away somebody was compromised. We knew something was very fishy and needed to get to the bottom of it. You can watch part 1 also to read our email and to see how Steve's assistant Hagerman already linked up with Govan attorney once and straight lied to the Judge Mitchell about the interview. This time he again linked up with Manny to sell a story to the judge. Unfortunately, this meeting has been covered up, so we do not know what lie they sold together this time under Steve's leadership. In the part 2, we reported Steve to senators, especially Brent Taylor, who wants to remove him from his office. We showed you that little news clip, and Brent Taylor is going hard the entire 2025 on Steve. In the letter, we also exposed all kinds of dumb things Steve was doing behind the scenes, including harassing of the victim's family and allowing Shundale not to be indicted due to a mistake he never cared to fix, and how he got Juke killed by letting Govan out on bond. But the best part was us showing you the article from Action 5 News when they called out Steve for lying his ass off how he is not Soros DA until they dropped the receipts. They only mentioned there were some Roc Nation execs and Michael Rubin. This sent us on a mission to look into these reports to see if Desiree names pops up, and it sure did. In part 3, we showed you paper trail of who exactly donated to Steve from $6,400 by Desiree Perez and her son Justin to another $6,400 by 2 other Roc Nation executives. Gotti's and Jay-Z's close friend Michael Rubin also contributed $3,200. Even Gotti's goofy attorney Art Horn donated a couple of thousands. And in the part 4, we re-uploaded those 2 videos of Steve clout chasing and begging for endorsements. Almost nobody was aware that there was a second video of Steve using Dolph's name to get in his position before completely forgetting about him and holding a grudge against his family because they did not want to participate in political games. In the meantime, we also kept you updated with the latest discoveries on our community post section of our YouTube channel. Let's put them in here right now so I can clear up the wall. The first update was a day after releasing part 2, when we could not sleep until we find out was Desiree one of the donors. And she sure was. We still have to check all the names properly to see if anybody else pops up. That is work in progress, but slow because we are running low on time and funding. It will be done the right way soon, before included in the documentary. I will also show you then how you can access the full list, so you can check it yourself if anybody else interesting pops out in case we overlook somebody else close to Gotti. All of this is early release, because I am nice enough to show you step by step how we find stuff out. Also, so Quet does not assume again his homeboys or Gotti are leaking this info. You never know with this unstable psycho informant. Few hours later, we watched our own video once to see if there are any mistakes on it. One thing caught our attention. It was the date of the second donation by Art Horn, Gotti's little partner. It looks like he sent a little thank you gesture as a courtesy of Gotti and his brother for allowing Quet to be out on the bond to keep him happy before he snitches out everybody involved. His transaction was way past the election. Why would Art randomly send $1,000 to Steve in 2023 right after he let Govan out? Another coincidence. The next day, we were asked by somebody to look into if Justin and Desiree are connected and to check all other names. We were very busy, but we took about 30 seconds of our time to do a simple Google search. And sure was Justin connected to Desiree. It is her son. The post goes like, donations update. Justin Perez can also count under Desiree's donations. He is her son. Desiree and Big Head tried to be slick and spread a large amount for Steve through smaller transactions from all their homies and family members. Now we are getting somewhere. And the news article goes like this on Justin's failed NBA dreams. Pivoting to academic pursuits. The son of two top executives at rapper Jay-Z's entertainment company Roc Nation chose Columbia University Law School. His NBA aspirations didn't go away while he was at one of America's most prestigious law schools, even while he filled his resume with impressive internships and volunteering efforts. He's the son of two prominent entertaining executives. His mother Desiree, the daughter of Cuban immigrants, is Roc Nation's CEO. Justin's father Juan, the son of Dominican Republic immigrants, runs Roc Nation's sports division. We were going to cover him too in the industry chapter, but you can already watch a lot of videos on YouTube about him and his ties to drugs and Jay-Z. True Results also touched on that. Day after proving Desiree had her family members donated some tuna to make it too obvious. If she sends more than few thousands, we had to address Art Horn. Because we already know Gotti's little trolls and blogs will go on and say how Art Horn was never Justin Johnson's, aka Straight Cop's attorney, and how he came up online lying he does not know where that rumor came from. Let's read my post and see where this rumor came from. Art Horn update. January 10th, 2022. Gotti's BFF Art Horn admits to Fox 13 being Straight Cop's early attorney. Later on, he came up lying his ass off online, acting like he didn't know where that rumor came from after he confirmed it. I don't blame him. If pretty Dominique Dillon was interviewing me, I would be admitting to everything too. Somebody ask her if she got a boyfriend. I am ready to confess my sins too. Of course, the CMF lawyer will be the first to represent their new artist. In the same way, he represented new artist Youngsta and got him off on 100 shots in Charlotte. He had to cancel Straight Cop because Gotti realized how cooked his crash out was and to make as much distance as possible for later stages, just in case he or Juke go down. Also, he decided not to give him a good attorney so he could be a fall guy for everybody. That's why Gotti had that money passed down to the shooters to keep his and Juke's name out of it. And that's why Gotti, Peppa, and Roc Nation arranged billboards for Straight Cop in New York. They knew if they spent a couple of thousands on that, he would never snitch on CMF because that was his dream to be a bootleg version of Pooh Shiesty with a CMF chain on riding around with Rick Kayla, setting up her new boyfriends. I wish I had known that before. I would have asked Mr. Cole to get him on billboards to snitch on Gotti. In the top right corner you can read Art denying representing Straight Cop. An attorney who previously represented Black Youngsta and Yo Gotti is denying reports that he was retained to work for the men who were accused of killing young Dolph. And then the article by Pretty Dominique claims otherwise. After she reached out to Art, he admitted to being Straight Cop's attorney. She must have hypnotizing eyes to get Art to tell it all. My boo Dominique says she reached out to Johnson's attorney, Art Horn, that Monday. Horn said if and when he speaks it will be after his client turns himself in. What a dumbass, he confirmed it himself. Next thing he will say, it was a lie, he donated thousands to Steve and Gotti's name not to make it too obvious. Or he will deny registering that smoke shop for Juke and Lambert where straight cop picked up some money. Okay, and next we uploaded the timeline of events that took place. It was very important in our opinion to demonstrate how desperate Steve was and how quick he linked up with Dolph's enemies after being rejected by Mia. It had to be personal, so we found out exact date he sent her that message. July 18th. 100% verified. That was the date. Anyway, let's read through the timeline. Donations update. We are starting to form a timeline. Now, what Steve did is making more sense, and how desperate he was. July 15th, 2022, Goofy Art Horn donates to Steve, probably in Gotti's name. July 18th, 2022, 3 days later, inspired by CMF donation, Steve begs young Dolph's girl Mia for an endorsement. With less than a month to go in the election, Steve was far behind his opponent, Amy, especially money-wise. She was kicking his ass, and time was running out. Keep in mind, DA in Tennessee is one of the longest DA terms across all the states of 8 years, so winning it is a major career victory. Steve and his homies came up with a brilliant plan to harass Dolph's family for an endorsement. Steve did not go to Dolph's parents. Steve did not go to Marcus. Steve did not go to Fizzle or Piari. And Steve did not go to Dolph's sisters, who are publicly speaking on behalf of the family. Steve went straight to Mia. Why? Because they explained to him how much money Dolph had, probably even more than Gotti mentioning all the real estate and showing jewelry to Steve. So they went to find out who was over his estate because, in Steve's head, that was where the money would be. Then he saw Mia's following, which he also referred to in the Goofy video. In addition to Dolph's own following, Steve, in his tiny mind, already scored a jackpot and a comeback for his campaign in the last moments. It was Steve's only way out. That's why he crossed the lines of respect and blamed Dolph's death on his opponent in his political games. He was getting desperate. July 18th to July 25th, 2022, Mia politely rejects to be part of the political games, spending a large ticket on Goofy Steve and disturbing clout chasing from Dolph's name. We all know Steve don't give a damn about no Dolph or black community. With knowing he is not getting shit from Dolph's side while expecting Mia to save his little campaign in the last weeks of the elections, he took this personally and linked up with the other side. Paranoia probably hit him, thinking she had supported his opponent already. July 26, 2022. Over the next few days, Gotti's bosses and homies started generous funding rounds for Steve, spreading a large amount over multiple people and entities not to make it too obvious. Now, what is missing on this timeline is July 23rd. We will cover it in tonight's episode and how Steve, right after getting a big fat no thank you from Mia, packed his bags and went on a field trip with Ho Gotti. Can't make this shit up. That's why it is very important to understand this timeline before we get into tonight's content, and how important that date was. Wait till you see this thing. Anyway, let's finish off the timeline update. August 2022. Steve wins the campaign due to Gotti's bosses and homies saving his ass, owing them and Soros everything. That's why he never wanted to prosecute Mario or Anthony. The detectives probably gave him all the proof because he definitely used some in the trial against Stray Cop, and he probably kept saying it was not enough. May 2023. Art Horn donates to Steve as a thank you gesture less than 2 weeks after they let Govan out on bond. I don't know for what other reason he would donate to Steve, because Steve was already in the office for 8 months at that point. However, This bites Art and Mario in the ass, because Govan, many months later, got Juke out of the way. Not a single one of these things was true.
$500,000 was spent to falsely portray me as a left-wing radical who wants to let violent criminals out on the streets and defund the police. Not a single one of those things was true. Who wants to let violent criminals out on the streets and defund the police. Not a single one of those things was true.
Not a single one of these things was true. Keep in mind, all of this has been happening after months and months of the case and ongoing investigation. This is not summer of 2021 to be a coincidence. These people knew exactly what they were doing. Do you think Gotti, Lame Z, and my boo Desiree did not talk about Dolph back when he rejected their contract? Do you think they did not meet up on or right after November 17th, 2021 to discuss how they will go about it and how they will cover for their artist Mario and his big sister's Anthony involvement? Do you think Desiree and others did not talk to Gotti about Memphis and Steve at any point after donating a large amount while involving Gotti in the Roc Nation's justice movements? When we get some time, we will make a video part 4 from all these recent findings. But at least in the meantime, you have fresh info as we find out more things daily. We also have to check on what money was spent from all these donors. And we still have to investigate every single name on that list to see if any other interesting names pop up. We only did a quick scroll and found these names already, so there could be more. We also have to make a web out of it and count up the total amount donated, which helps Steve close his eyes on prosecuting affiliates of his donors, Mario and Anthony Mims.
The answer is no. I did not receive any Soros money. I reject the label of being a Soros DA.
Y'all need to respect Steve's wishes. He is not labeled as Soros DA anymore. From now on, he is Roc Nation's and Gotti's DA. Let's dig into this delicious Saturday dinner with some Michelin star-rated meat and potatoes. Now that we have established a timeline of events, guess what Steve did on July 23rd, right after being rejected by Mia? He packed his bags and went on a networking mission to get some cash from big fishes, knowing he was about to lose the campaign if he doesn't get his money up. Steve went to New York. Yes, a city where Jay-Z, Desiree, and Roc Nation are based. For people that do not know, they are one of Gotti's bosses and owners next to Interscope and Universal Music Group. I don't want to spoil the industry video, but Roc Nation and another UMG subsidiary tried to get Dolph signed. Once he said fuck the 22 million, and the second time he released Talking to My Scale as his response. You can also go listen to his Song Hall of Fame where he testified for us that it was Roc Nation, one of the 2 times Gotti's partner tried to own Dolph, something Gotti was unsuccessful in. As you can see his smile from ear to ear, Steve was real happy to be a guest over there at Roc Nation UJC conference, where all same pro-criminal people meet and work together on their dumb little ideas. Now let's check out who went there with Steve. Better say who brought Steve over there, because Dolph's people was not fucking with him. And keep in mind, he was over there at Roc Nation event 3 days before all the funding from their side and Michael Rubin started pouring in. This has to be under investigation. Now let's see who else was there shopping Steve around to his bosses and partners.
Well, commitment to fight for social and racial justice. Jay-Z is at record label. Roc Nation is leading the charge with a massive gathering this weekend.
Yeah, the social justice arm of the label Roc Nation is holding its first summit on Saturday. It's happening right here in New York City, but pushing for change across communities in America. So joining us now to talk about it is Roc Nation's founding member, Danya Diaz. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's jump right in and talk about what is the United Justice Coalition and how did this all come about?
Sure. The United Justice Coalition is a think tank of experts who really care about criminal justice reform and social and racial justice, and advancing our efforts to just achieve a more equitable society. It was really a group that we kind of put together back in 2019 when we recognized that, you know, the work that we were doing and that so many of us are doing across the nation requires more collaboration. And so we started to call on friends and colleagues that we know were experts in their fields and that were really concerned about how to fix our system, and started meeting on a monthly basis. And from very early on, we knew that we wanted to bring the conversation to a greater public. And so here we are today, about to host the first social justice convention on July 23rd here in New York City.
Yeah, let's talk about that. It's Saturday. The coalition is hosting the first of its kind social justice summit. What can you tell us about it, and can anybody go?
Yeah, so first and foremost, it's open to the public. We want no barriers to entry. We really want everyone who cares about just living in a more equitable society to be present. And so for attendees, what will happen is you'll be exposed to over 40 different organizations, really representing all parts of the United States. We have national organizations. We have organizations that are coming in from Memphis, 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 from California, and from the southern states, as well as the New York tri-state area, all dedicated to criminal justice reform in various ways. And then we have an array of incredible discussions that we will be engaged in with an incredible array of hosts and moderators and panelists. We'll be talking about, you know, the importance of policing in America. How do we bridge the divide? We'll be talking about decriminalizing mental health. We'll be talking about conditions of confinement. You know, what are more humane ways of working with the incarcerated population and corrections officers in that system. We'll be really talking to families who have been impacted by police violence. So there's a panel discussion really focused on several families that can share their stories and also share how they've transformed their pain into purpose and promise. And then we'll be talking about wrongful conviction and transitions in and out of our criminal justice system.
Now, we know that you have people across all types of platforms supporting this cause. Who are some people that people can expect to hear from on Saturday?
Well, we'll have an incredible array of moderators, right? So we have Charlamagne Tha God, we have Soledad O'Brien, we have Ari Melber, Jason Flom, Dan Slepian. We have
we saw Yo Gotti right there.
Yeah, we have Yo Gotti, who's a real true blue, prison reform advocate as well. So he'll be in a panel discussing conditions of confinement. We have we'll have an incredible array of moderators, right? So we have Charlamagne Tha God, we have Soledad O'Brien, we have Ari Melber, Jason Flom, Dan Slepian. We have
we saw Yo Gotti right there.
Yeah, we have Yo Gotti, who's a real true blue, prison reform advocate as well. So he'll be in a panel discussing conditions of confinement. We have Maggie Freeland as well moderating, and then panelists, families, as I mentioned, Dr. Tiffany Crutcher, Alyssa Finley, Michelle Kenny. We have Dr. Bernice A. King, attorney Ben Crump. We just encourage everyone to come out. It's going to be a very powerful discussion, really focused on solutions.
Absolutely. What a list of people, too, that are going to be there. Well, let me ask you something. Where can people go for more information about the events?
You can go to unitedjusticecoalition.com/summit or ujcsummit.com/RSVP.
And Danya, just before we let you go, one more thing. Is this open to everyone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Open to everyone. So we just want this, we want as many people to come and learn and share and have an open mind and really feel like there are solutions to many of the problems that we're seeing in our country today. And there is hope, and we can fix just our criminal justice system. And yes, that's really, truly the goal here.
All right, Danya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care.
It's your boy, Yo Gotti.
Y'all give up a round of applause for Justice for Dolph. Now this is what I call busted in 4K. They can't be this stupid. So Steve went on a networking event with Gotti, and Gotti was shopping him around right there to his bosses and partners. You are crazy if you think this is a coincidence. Let's listen to some of Gotti's panel talk, so you know all this is real. Remember, this was on July 23rd, only 3 days before all the money start coming into Steve's pockets.
It's your boy, Yo Gotti.
And we're going to be joined by an artist that I think everyone in this room knows and loves. So let me bring out part one. We're going to do 2 parts to this, and there's a great reason for that. So part 1 of our panel begins right now. Please welcome Cheryl Henderson, Marcy Croft, and Yo Gotti.
It's your boy, Yo Gotti.
All right, I could start anywhere, but I'd like to start with you, Gotti. We are going to start by discussing this Parchman prison. You've spoken about it, you've advocated on it, and you've also led and supported a lawsuit that's already drawn real results, which we're going to get into. Why was this important to you?
I think, first of all, I grew up in a family where I had family members incarcerated. So I was one of the kids that grew up going to different facilitations, visiting my loved ones. Also, Parchman Prison is like, it's very close to Memphis, so it's like if you pass through one red light, you're in Mississippi. So to me, it's like it's super close to home.
It's your boy, Yo Gotti.
All right, cool. We proved Steve was up there with Gotti begging for money for his campaign. And Gotti arranged it for him 3 days later, starting with Desiree. Let's see what else we can find out about this event and who else was there. You can listen to him rambling in your own time. Said nothing smart anyway, waste of time. Facilitations was hilarious. It's facilities, you big dummy. At least I expected from you to contain full English dictionary in that big head of yours.
It's your boy, Yo Gotti.
Let's see what else I got in my archives. I will put it all in his face, so Steve can't say not single one of these things is true. On the left we got, happening now. Hashtag UJC Summit 22 is bringing together social justice leaders, experts, entertainers, right now to collaborate for change. July 23rd, 2022. Only 3 days before Desiree wrote her check. On the right side we got promo before the event. 3 days before Art Horn sent Steve his first $1,000. Multi-platinum recording artist, entrepreneur, and criminal justice reform advocate. At Yo Gotti will be joining us July 23rd for the UJC Summit. Gotti is a devoted activist, procuring legal representation for 225-plus incarcerated men in Parchman Prison. They forgot to mention procuring legal representation for Cornball and Stray Cop. And soon for Govan, because his money is running low and Mr. Cold ain't fucking with him no more. Anyway, let's continue. And filed multiple lawsuits against the Mississippi Department of Corrections, MDOC, to address the lack of COVID-19 testing and barbaric living conditions inside the facility. His commitment to enact change continues as he joins us for the UJC Summit. Register to attend at link in bio. Hashtag UJC Summit 22.
your boy, Yo Gotti.
What else I got for you? Let's read the UJC Summit Program page about Gotti. They misspelled his name, but we fixed it. Multi-platinum musician, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and record executive, CMG. Yo Gotti is a multi-platinum recording artist, entrepreneur, and criminal justice reform advocate from Memphis. Over the course of his illustrious career, Gotti has released several multi-platinum and gold studio albums, mixtapes, and singles, including Down in the DM, Rake It Up, and Put a Date on It, and has collaborated with fellow heavyweights such as Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, J. Cole, Lil Baby, and DJ Khaled, among others. To date, he has landed 5 consecutive top 10 album debuts on the Billboard Top 200. His latest release, CM10, Free Game, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and marked the highest charting album in his acclaimed career. Gotti is also the CEO of CMG, his record label and full-service entertainment organization that supports an array of musicians via artist management, distribution, strategic brand development, and more. CMG boasts an impressive lineup of talent, including Moneybagg Yo, 42 Dugg, ESTG, and more. As the head of CMG, Gotti works closely with each artist, oversees the strategy and execution around their respective music releases, and spearheads decision-making across everything from radio promotion to marketing initiatives. Gotti recently graced the cover of Billboard magazine, as CMG was crowned as the hardest-working label in hip-hop. Beyond his music and business-related endeavors, Gotti is a devoted activist, having procured legal representation for 225-plus incarcerated men in Parchman Prison and filed multiple lawsuits against the Mississippi Department of Corrections, MDOC, to address the lack of COVID-19 testing and barbaric living conditions inside the facility. His public advocacy prompted healthcare provider Centene to terminate its relationship with Parchman Prison, and his work has been featured by CBS News, ABC News, NBC News, and CNN, among several other national LY-renowned platforms. They haven't told us that Big Head will be this summer again over there pulling a justice fraud, not telling them he is a mastermind behind Dolph's death with his big sister and their rogue special agent informant Govan. I bet he's not going to speak this summer how he tried to take out Dolph more than 3 times my head. We already know Steve will be a good boy for Roc Nation and will be cheering for his boy Gotti in the first row and cheesing for his sugar mama Desiree Perez.
It's your boy, Yo Gotti.
Now the board members of this goofy event, and who was also there with Steve and Big Head Gotti. Starting from the left, going right, we got Jana Fleischman. She is kind of hot, too. I would take her for the team, too. Jay, please send her to infiltrate our channel. If you remember our video exposing donations, she was from the communications department. Donated to Steve $3,200. What's up with all these MILFs at Roc Nation? No wonder they put Steve under their spell. Then you got Dania Diaz. She was the one talking in the news segment promoting the event. Then another board member who was also present at the event in 2022, my personal favorite, Desiree Perez. She was the first to donate to Steve, leading Roc Nation by example. And of course we got Lame Z, dude known for dating teenagers during his midlife crisis. In the middle we got Carmen Perez. I will check if she is in the donations. You can read about her on their website. She is a big deal too. And, of course, another MILF at Roc Nation. And on the right, you got even the notorious Alex Spiro. We're not going to get on his ass, because he be suing like a little girl in the kindergarten. Judge, he talked about me on YouTube. On the 2022 UJC Summit event program available on their Goofy website, you can see the list of UJC advisors. You can pause the video and check them out. We got Charlemagne. He needs to stop interviewing Mia, knowing what the hell he is doing in his spare time with Gotti. We got Sean Carter, aka Lame Z, Dania Diaz, she was mentioned promoter, and our newly discovered MILF Jana Fleischman, who also filled up Steve pockets. On the second page, you got Desiree and Carmen Perez, Alex Spiro, and others. You can also pause now and let us know if any of these names are relevant to Dolph's case, or even if they have ties to Universal Music Group. Let's see now who else was there at the event besides Steve, Gotti, Lame Z, my boo Desiree, and my side piece Jana Fleischman, and also donated money to Steve. Oh yes, none other than yo boy Michael Rubin. He is very close to Lame Z, Ho Gotti, and my baby Desiree. He is a partner of Roc Nation leadership on that justice journey, and one of the sponsors through his organization called Reform. Also, he is that billionaire that be constantly putting his dick on Lil Baby and hugging him from behind. We are going to cover Rubin properly in the next video called The Industry. We have already seen his donation to Steve only 4 days after this event took place in the amount of $3,200. These amounts are really adding up by now. We are so far at around $20,000 of bribe. Whoops. I mean $20,000 of donations. Okay, do you remember this from earlier?
Organizations that are coming in from Memphis,
This goofball Josh Spickler and his organization, Just City, are always showing up to these Roc Nation justice events. What a coincidence that they were there with Steve and Gotti representing Memphis. As you can see from the pictures, he and Steve work closely together on their genius idea to help the black community by looking after violent psychos like Govan and trying to give them all kinds of benefits. We will cover him and Just City Memphis when the time is right, but that's most definitely Steve's little partner with common agendas going to the same event.
Organizations that are coming in from Memphis,
Now the last thing before we cover the new petition and get out of here. The next event will be on May 30th of this year. We need somebody to go to the event undercover and keep an eye on Gotti and Steve up there. It should be free to enter. You can register on their website and go with a little hidden camera and audio recorder.
Going to be there. Well, let me ask you something. Where can people go for more information about the events?
You can go to unitedjusticecoalition.com/summit or ujcsummit.com/RSVP.
And Danya, just before we let you go, one more thing. Is this open to everyone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Open to everyone. So we just want this, we want as many people to come and learn and share and have an open mind and really feel like there are solutions to many of the problems that we're seeing in our country today. And there is hope, and we can fix our criminal justice system. And yes, that's really, truly the goal here.
All right. All right, Danya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care.
Done with no labor. Young fly nigga, high nigga, fucked your bitch and told her bye nigga. No lie nigga. Hey, hold on, bro.
Yo, Young Dolph is a wild boy. He a wild boy. I like him.
Hey, man.
Bye, nigga.
Shout out to the street. Shout out to all the hustlers. Shout out to all the money go getters, man. Go get the money, man.
Damn, boy.
I tell you, man. Young Dolph.
He fucked your bitch and said bye.
Nigga.
No lie, nigga.
Hey, man, if I was your pussy ass boy, I'd be mad at me too, man. Why you mad at me?
It's some people out here they playing chess. You know, I saw the board. We all watching the board. The best chess players in the town watching the board. We watching this game as it progresses, like you watching two people play on the board. You dig what I'm saying? And you know, niggas playing to win. You know, you know, and
yeah. I know they ain't think it was over with.
Run me up, man. Tag a friend, yeah, and another friend. Fuck you saying? Everybody get here. Okay, so we go again.
Too deep in the South. That's what it is. I'ma go. Should I let the cat out the bag right quick? Niggas, man, I got my nigga Quid in the building, man. Cause, you know what I'm saying? Memphis 10 in the building. Should I go let the cat out the bag right quick on these niggas, man?
Then I went and got me a fit. And you can catch me in Memphis with Quid.